welcome. Thank you for coming out to watch roller derby. We do have the Mad Wreckin' Dolls, our recreational league of skaters, and they are here now, rolling out to show you and demo a little bit about how the game is played.
Hi, everyone. I'm Warrior with the Mad Wreckin' Dolls, and we're going to show you how to play roller derby. A roller derby bout consists of two 30-minute halves made of shorter periods called jams. 5 skaters from each team skate in each jam. These players are divided into 3 positions. At the front, we have the pivots and the blockers. All together, they form the pack. At the back, we have the jammers. These are the skaters that will be scoring points. They're easy to spot with the stars on their helmets. When the refs blow one whistle, it signifies the start of the jam, releasing the pack and the jammers. The jammers try to make their way through the pack, helped by their own blockers and hindered by the other blockers. The blockers are not allowed to use their arms or elbows to stop the jammers, and the jammers cannot cut the track around the blockers. These or any other illegal moves will land the skater in the penalty box for 30 seconds. Oh look, the blue jammer Beast is out of the pack. The first jammer to legally get out of the pack obtains lead jammer status. The refs identify the lead jammer by pointing one arm at the jammer with the other in the air. Now the yellow jammer is out of the pack. Skulls Be Crackin' is not the lead jammer, but can still score points. The jammer ref crosses his hands in front of him to indicate that the yellow jammer is not the lead jammer. On the second pass, the jammer scores points for every opposing skater she passes. The number of points scored are signaled by the jammer ref. When she's had enough, or to prevent the other team from scoring, the lead jammer can call off the jam by placing her hands on her hips. The four whistles and the jam. 30 seconds later, a new pack will enter the rink and we start the next jam. Simple enough? Let's watch some championship roller derby.
Thank you. Thank you to the Mad Wreckin' Dolls.
And now it is time to introduce our teams for the grudge match tonight. Playing it out for third place are the Reservoir Dolls and the Unholy Rollers. Both of these teams have played some amazing games this season, and they are here tonight to play one last home season game for the 2016 season. So welcome to you, the greatest derby fans in the world, as we introduce our teams for tonight's first bout. First, let's meet the returning vets of the Unholy Rollers. Playing at pivot at 5'4.5" from Holcomb, Wisconsin, number 22, it's Tango de Muerte. Playing jammer at 5'7" from Miami, Florida, number 65 is Blanche Devereaux. Playing blocker and jammer at 5'3.5" from Valparaiso, Indiana, number NOV5, Scarlett Osneria. Playing blocker at 5'1" from Chicago, Illinois, number 847, it's Hello, Sailor. Playing pivot at 5'2" from Detroit, Michigan, number 48, it's Micro Mauler. Playing jammer at 5'5" from Saukville, Wisconsin, it's number 314, Gertrude Awakening. Playing blocker and jammer at 5'11" from Watertown, Wisconsin, number B1T, it's Fang Dangle. Playing blocker at 5'5" from Chesterton, Indiana, number 8, Hannah Cuffs. skating blocker at 5'4" from Hill Point, Wisconsin, number 800M, it's Bada Boom Box. And playing blocker at 5'6" from Columbus, Wisconsin, number C7, the Manipulator. And now, the 2016 rookies for your Unholy Rollers. At jammer from Rockford, Illinois, at 5'5", it's Jandetta. A 4'11" blocker out of Wausau, Wisconsin, it's Sugar Rush. The bracer in the middle from Smithtown, New York, 5'4", Off Me Rocker. A 5'8" jammer from Boston, Massachusetts, it's Ginger Snap. From New Lenox, Illinois, at blocker, 5'5", Hellwoods. The bench managers of the Unholies are I Am Spazikist, Twisted Halo, and Wildberry Punch. Also on the bench are Dive Hard and Splatter Alice. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Unholy Rollers!
And going up against the Unholy Rollers tonight are the 2016 Reservoir Dolls. Number 11 for the Reservoir Dolls, Mass Myrtle. Number 18, Full Frontal Judity. Number 185, Supernova. Number 2, Critical Tits. Number 270, Sly and Nide. Number 31, Lady Hoo-Ha. Number 33, Charlie Hustle. Number 333, Tenacious D. Number 366, Jean Lane. Number 4, Mouse. Number 565, Block Ness Monster. Number 50, The Heat. Number 8, Sassbot. Number 9, Shenanigans. K155, Lip Smacker. W01F, it's Call It a Wild. And on the bench for the Reservoir Dolls tonight, we have Blitz Siren, Wipeout Scout, Dutch Oven, Hopscotch, and Sproutin' a Tail. Let's hear it for your 2016 Reservoir Dolls.
And of course, before we get into tonight's action, we would like to thank our skating and non-skating officials without whom none of this would be possible. So shout outs to Zdork, Uno Mas, Bjorn Takill, Howie Swerve, Chaotic Neutral, YI Otter, Thaco, Johnny Zebra, Modus Pones, Macromaniac, Mr. Welsh, Agru, Cordova, Diaphragm, The Goram Reaver, Brazzle Dazzle, Misinformed, Shownuff, Jezebel O'Kitty, Roadblock, Dark Matter, Keister Bunny, and Dread Gazebo. Now, before we get things underway, if you can please rise and remove your headgear if you are able, as we pass things over to the Capitol Chordsmen for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the
Thank you very much to the Capitol Chordsmen, everybody. And now we are ready to get down to the action on the track. Skaters are lining up for the first jam. Dolly, I am excited.
I'm excited too, Rich. This is going to be a great game. And lining up on that Monkey Bar Gym Jammer line, we've got Blanche Devereaux starting off the game for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming against Mouse of the Reservoir Dolls. Everybody's ready. Waiting for the whistle, and they're off. Blanche into a wall of Reservoir Doll blockers, trying to break her way out and get around. She finds a hole on the inside lane, and she is your lead jammer.
That she is, but Mouse is also out of the pack and hot on her heels, closing the distance fast as both skaters come around to the back of the pack.
Reservoir Dolls trying to get into the front of the pack and get Mouse some quick points. Mouse passes Blanche, but she was Blanche Devereaux, the lead jammer in that jam, so she calls off the jam. No points scored for either team.
Yeah, definitely a quick jam for that first one out, Dolly. Lining up on the Monkey Bar Gym Jammer line, we have Gertrude Awakening jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming against Shenanigans for the Reservoir Dolls.
Gertrude Awakening finding a wall of Reservoir Dolls right in the back, just trying to get right through it. Shenanigans up against the Unholy Roller blockers in the front of the pack. Looks like
Gertrude Awakening finding that inside line to take lead jam for the Unholy Rollers.
Meanwhile, Shenanigans still held up in the pack. It looks like by the manipulator up in the front. Last to pass, she does so, but Gertrude Awakening right through that pack, picks up 4 points and calls off the jam. Unholy Rollers starting off with a quick lead there. And Rich, the Monkey Bar Gym is our Jammer Line sponsor. The Monkey Bar Gym is where Derby girls work out to be strong enough for Derby. At Monkey Bar Gym Madison, they understand both high-level athletic performance and physical limitations. And they've trained professional athletes and weekend warriors, firefighters and grandmothers, carpenters and cancer survivors. Check them out at 1876 East Washington Avenue.
Monkey Bar Gym, a fantastic sponsor for the Mad Rollin' Dolls. Meanwhile, back on the track, we've got Ginger Snap taking lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. She is jamming against Lady Hoo-Ha of the Reservoir Dolls.
And Ginger Snap doing a really good job this season for the Unholy Rollers. She is a rookie this season, but jamming against the likes of Lady Hoo-Ha, who's been on the Reservoir Dolls for several years now. So doing a good job picking up 4 more points for the Unholy Rollers in that jam. And that'll bring Jendetta from the Unholy Rollers up to the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, along with Mouse jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
Whistle blows, jam begins. Both jammers fly into the pack. Jendetta looking to find an outside line. Doesn't quite get it as she's knocked to the outside by Cyanide. Cyanide, though, picking up a penalty for her efforts. Gonna go down to the Monkey Bar Gym, or the WORT penalty box.
And it looks like Mouse, jammer for the Reservoir Dolls, picked up a track cut penalty, so she'll be also headed to the penalty box. That will leave Jendetta and the Unholy Rollers with a power jam.
That's right, Dolly, and they are definitely taking full advantage. Jendetta with a mini of Madison grand slam and 5 points for the Unholy Rollers on that last pass. Coming around the track fast, her team getting in there, trying to break up the Reservoir Dolls blockers. She is going to get through, picking up 5 more points for the Unholies.
And you'll notice the Unholy Rollers down to only 3 blockers, 2 now in the back of the pack. Slow the pack down, but then immediately play a little bit of offense for their jammer as she comes around. Really helping the Unholy Rollers pick up those points in that last jam. That brings them to 18 points against Reservoir Dolls with no points so far in this first period.
Mouse was released from the penalty box at just the last moment of that last jam, so there will have each team will have their jammer on the track for this next jam. We're going to have Off Me Rocker up on the jammer line for the Unholy Rollers. She is jamming against Lip Smacker for the Reservoir Dolls.
And it looks like it's Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers with the star on her helmet there. I think we just had a mix-up on our screen here, but Lip Smacker is the jammer out of the pack first, and she is lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls. Lip Smacker approaches the pack, being taken to the outside, but gets by and picks up 4 points and calls the jam off. Smart move by Lip Smacker there before Blanche Devereaux could score any points in that jam.
Yep, definitely a good job so far by the Unholy Rollers, keeping the Reservoir Dolls score down low. However, this is only 14 points separating these two teams, and we have seen jams with far more points than that scored in previous games. So we'll see what the Reservoir Dolls have in store here. We have Sasspot lining up on the jammer line for the Reservoir Dolls. She is jamming against Gertrude Awakening for the Unholy Rollers.
And both jammers kind of do a little crisscross there, fighting against respective blocking walls. We've got Mass Myrtle, Lady Hoo-Ha, Charlie Hustle, and the Heat blocking for the Reservoir Dolls, holding back Gertrude Awakening.
Gertrude Awakening knocked to the inside twice now by Lady Hoo-Ha. We do have Sasspot out taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. 2 blockers for the Unholies going to the penalty box.
And Sasspot got lead jammer, knocked to the outside there by Hello Sailor, but gets around again on her second try there. Past the Unholy Rollers blockers, Hellwoods and Hello Sailor. She picks up 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls and calls off that jam. Smart jam by Sasspot, bringing the Reservoir Dolls points up to 8.
And the Reservoir Dolls did manage to keep the Unholy Rollers from scoring any points that last jam, so they are edging their way back into, into that score gap. Getting back down to the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we have Mouse jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She's going to be jamming against Ginger Snap for the Unholy Rollers. Ginger Snap sent out on an early penalty. Looks like that was a back block penalty. Mouse taking lead jam. Oh, a little bit of a penalty call on Mouse there as well. So with both of our jammers having taken a trip to the penalty box, we will have no lead jammer for this jam. It will go for the full 2 minutes.
And right now we've got that little switcheroo in the jammer box. So when one jammer goes to the penalty box, I'm sorry, not the jammer box, but the penalty box, when the other jammer is also sent to the penalty box, the first jammer sent will be released. So Ginger Snap now back on the track, fighting her way through on that initial pass. Mouse, just having to serve the same amount of time that Ginger Snap had served, is also back on the track trying to, I believe, complete her first scoring pass.
Yeah, Mouse meeting with some fierce resistance from the Unholy Rollers blockers. She's knocked to the inside, doesn't quite have to recycle back. Although she looks like she does pick up a track cut penalty on that pass. So back to a power jam for Ginger Snap and the Unholy Rollers.
And Ginger Snap, I believe, already picking up a first scoring pass there, but Unholy Rollers blockers, Bada Boombox, Fang Dangled, the Manipulator, and Scarlet Osnaria holding back the Reservoir Doll jammers. A lot of times just holding back one blocker will help their own jammer be able to make their way through that pack. Ginger Snap coming around the track again, making her way past the Reservoir Dolls pack in the front, picks up a Minia Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points for the Unholy Rollers.
Meanwhile, Mouse back on the track looking to score some points, but the jam ends before she puts any up on the board. We currently have the score at Reservoir Dolls 8, Unholy Rollers 32, with 21 minutes remaining in the first half.
And a really nice jam there by Ginger Snap, picking up 14 points for the Unholy Rollers. Come join us tonight at our after party. It is at the High Noon Saloon, voted Madison's favorite live music venue and Madison's favorite place for karaoke. Back to the action, we've got Jendetta jamming for the Unholy Rollers, going up against Shenanigans for the Reservoir Dolls.
Lip Smacker knocking Jendetta to the outside, recycling her to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, this allows Shenanigans to break through to pick up lead jam.
She gets knocked down, but right back up and around the track. Shenanigans, lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls, with Jendetta out of the pack as well. Both jammers now eligible to score points. And it looks like we've got a couple of the blockers headed off to our Monkey Bar Gym. I'm sorry, our WORT penalty box.
That's right, a 4-point jam for the Reservoir Dolls there. So closing up that score gap again, we've got Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She's going to be jamming against Blanche Devereaux for the Unholy Rollers. We do indeed have 2 Unholy blockers in the penalty box, so they have a bit of a diminished pack strength now.
Giving the Reservoir Dolls a little bit of an advantage in terms of blockers on the track.
Lady Hoo-Ha going to take full advantage, getting through to take lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
Blanche Devereaux through the pack as well, hot in pursuit. And Lady Hoo-Ha finding a hole on the outside lane there, squeezing by and calling off the jam, picking up 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls. And Rich, if folks join us tonight at the after party at the High Noon Saloon, we'll be able to listen to Venus in Furs. Former skater of the Unholy Rollers, El Machete, is in that band. We've also got another band playing at the High Noon Saloon. What are they?
They are the Shirley Manson Family, a garbage cover band. So come on down to the High Noon Saloon after the bout. You can get in for free with your ticket stub. So come rub elbows with some Mad Rollin' Dolls skaters and staff and enjoy a night of party, revelry, and music.
We've got a little timeout here. And we'll get back to the action. Looks like Gertrude Awakening will be jamming for the Unholy Rollers. And she'll be jamming against number 4, Mouse of the Reservoir Dolls.
Mouse getting kind of a slow and gentle start off to the beginning there, stepping over one of her own blocker's legs to take lead jam. In the meantime, we've got Gertrude Awakening, jammer for the Unholy Rollers, still fighting against a wall of red and black up towards, or black and white, up at the front of the pack. Not quite through yet. In the meantime, Mouse picking up her first scoring pass with a Minia Madison Grand Slam.
And that's 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls, really what they needed here. Great job by Mouse, communicating to her team as she gets up to the pack. trying to make her way through. She calls off the jam, picking up another 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls, and a total of 9 points in that jam. It looks like Gertrude Awakening picks up 2 points for the Unholy Rollers.
There's a nice block there at the end of the jam by Call It Wild, opening up that center lane for Mouse to get through and really get through nigh uncontested on that last pass.
Jamming for the Reservoir Dolls now, we've got Lip Smacker. She'll be jamming against Ginger Snap for the Unholy Rollers.
Ginger Snap weaving back and forth within the pack, trying to find a hole to get through to take lead jam. Res Dolls blocker's not going to make it easy for her, though, recycling her to the back of the pack.
And
Res
that is
Dolls
what
jammer Lip Smacker almost getting through, but getting knocked to the outside, recycled to the back of the pack herself, back into the thick of it against the Unholy's blockers.
And Ginger Snap finding a nice little tiptoe on the inside there, hole to get through, picks up lead jammer status for the Unholy Rollers.
Got a back block penalty being assessed against Unholy Rollers jammer Ginger Snap. That will give Lip Smacker and the Reservoir Dolls a power jam.
Meanwhile, the manipulator up in the front really making her way, or making it tough for Lip Smacker. Lip Smacker does get past all blockers and the jammer, so that picks up a Minnie Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
And since Ginger Snap was our lead jammer for this jam, and she has now gone out to that WORT penalty box, we no longer have a lead jammer, so this jam will go the full 2 minutes.
That allows Lip Smacker to pick up another Minnie Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points for the Reservoir Dolls.
That's right, Dolly, and with that Grand Slam, there has been a lead change. Reservoir Dolls now 1 point ahead of the Unholy Rollers.
Ginger Snap back in on the track now from the penalty box, picks up 4 points for the Unholy Rollers. And it looks like both skaters heading around the track, picking up 4 points each time they go through that pack. Ginger Snap another 4 points there. Lip Smacker trying to make her way through while time remains on the jam clock. She gets knocked to the inside by Off Me Rocker. Forced to recycle around, and it looks like Unholy Rollers pick up a Minnie Madison Grand Slam, 5 points there. Reservoir Dolls another 2 points. And that'll bring the Unholy Rollers back into the lead with 47 points. 13 points that jam. Reservoir Dolls with 41 points. Lip Smacker picking up 16 points that jam.
Definitely a high-scoring jam, last jam. Going into this next jam, we have Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming unopposed currently as Res Dolls jammer Lip Smacker is in the penalty box. So power jam for Blanche Devereaux and the Unholy Rollers. She
and the
takes a hit
Reservoir
from Charlie
Dolls
Hustle.
try to knock Blanche Devereaux to the outside. Charlie Hustle did knock into Blanche, took her down, but with her legs, I believe. So was called to the WORT penalty box. And meanwhile, the jam is called off by Blanche Devereaux.
That's right, no points scored on that last jam by either team, it seems. So score remains Reservoir Dolls 41, Unholy Rollers 47. We are looking at just under 15 minutes remaining in this first half, Dolly.
Still plenty of time for anything to happen, as we've seen it done already. Lining up on the jammer line for the Reservoir Dolls, we have Mouse jamming against Jendetta for the Unholy Rollers.
Jendetta getting through, taking a lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. However, Mouse also out of the pack, right on her heels.
And the pack picking up speed, a little bit of action there. Unholy Rollers trying to pick up some points as Jendetta races to the front with Mouse following closely behind. It looks like the Unholy Rollers do pick up 1 point, and they keep the Reservoir Dolls to no points there.
I'd like
on
to
that
give a quick
jam.
shout out to one of our sponsors, the Ale Asylum. Ale Asylum, brewed and bottled in Madison, fermented insanity. If you would like, we do have some of the Ale Asylum's Hopalicious here on tap. Head on over to one of the bars and get yourself some.
Jamming for the Reservoir Dolls is Shenanigans, going up against Gertrude Awakening, jamming for the Unholy Rollers. Gertrude Awakening finding a wall of resistance as well as Shenanigans there, but Gertrude Awakening finds her way out of the pack. However, she's sent to the penalty box for a back block.
That's right. That means Shenanigans and the Reservoir Dolls have a power jam right now. No lead jammer has been called, so if the Unholy Rollers defense can hold back Shenanigans until Gertrude Awakening gets back on the track, they have a chance at taking lead jam for this jam.
Unholy Rollers having to bridge out to keep the pack definition, doing a great job there of holding Shenanigans back for as long as they could. Shenanigans is determined to be the lead jammer.
Unholy Roller jammer Gertrude Awakening back on the track, back in the action, gonna try to make a scoring pass, not to the inside. Looks like she's been called out on a penalty again, so back to the WRT penalty box she goes.
But Rich, it looks like Shenanigans was called out on a penalty right before Gertrude Awakening came back in and got called out. So she was heading to the penalty box. Gertrude Awakening will just serve the amount of time that Shenanigans had to serve in the penalty box.
These jammers are pretty excited for our Game of Musical Thrones halftime game, Dolly.
They sure are.
They are sitting there playing it in the penalty box.
Gertrude Awakening back on the track, hops over that inside line, and that'll get her through on her initial pass through the pack. Now both jammers eligible to score points. Shenanigans gets through the pack and picks up a Minnie Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
That's right, their score now is Reservoir Dolls 46, Unholy Rollers 48. Both of these teams keeping the jam so close. It really could go either way at this point, Dolly.
That's right, Rich, and we'll see what Sasspot can do jamming for the Reservoir Dolls going up against Ginger Snap.
We do have an official timeout here, so we will have a moment while they get whatever they have to do taken care of. At this time, I'd like to remind you all, you can head on down to the merchandise table to pay for a shout-out. That is $1 that will go to support our Bout charity this evening, G-Safe. Anything you would like written on those shout-outs, we will read to you over the mic. So please head on down, buy a shout-out, support G-Safe. While you're over there, check out the Dairyland Dolls booth. We are selling wheels there for the wheel toss. Just a reminder, the winner of the wheel toss will win 2 season passes for next season, as well as a gift card for One Barrel Brewing. So head on down to that Dairyland Dolls table, or you can also see a number of the skaters are walking around the stands with wheels I've seen. So you can flag one of them down, buy 1 wheel for $3, 2 for $5, have a chance to win just a really awesome set of prizes.
That's right, Rich. So get your wheels and remember your numbers and get ready to support your Dairyland Dolls. We want to thank one of the sponsors for their support, Roman Candle Pizzeria, a place where family, friends, and neighbors can gather for good times and even better pizza.
We are back into the action on the track, Dolly. We've got Ginger Snap jamming for the Unholy Rollers up against Sasspot for the Reservoir Dolls. Ginger Snap getting through, taking lead jam.
And it looks like Sasspot quickly through the pack and right behind her. Hot in pursuit. Both jammers now eligible to score points. Both packs diminished by skaters going into and now coming out of the WRT penalty box. And Sasspot knocked to the inside, forced to recycle back around. Ginger Snap called off of the track for a penalty. And it looks like that was a track cut penalty. She's followed right by Sasspot, another little game of musical chairs with the jammers there. Both to the penalty box, now both on the track.
Yep, quick jammer recycle there. Now, since both jammers have been in the penalty box, we have no lead jammer. This jam will continue for the full amount of time. Ginger Snap working her way against a full four wall of Reservoir Doll blockers at the front of the pack.
That's right, Rich. Those Reservoir Doll blockers, Mass Myrtle, Lady Hoo-Ha, Charlie Hustle, and Jean Lane, trying to hold her back. She makes her way through on that initial pass. Meanwhile, the Unholy Rollers blockers, Micro Mauler, Hannah Cuffs, Fang Dangled, and the Manipulator. Defending against Sassbot, she makes her way through the pack for 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
That's right, first 4 points of this jam.
First 4 points in a while there. That brings the Reservoir Dolls into the lead. And it looks like Ginger Snap heading back to the WORT penalty box, allowing Sassbot a Minnie Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
So now we have our first in-between jam lead change. Reservoir Dolls now up to 55 against the Unholy Rollers 40. My mistake.
52.
Slight score update. Reservoir Dolls 55, Unholy Rollers 52.
And the Reservoir Dolls have Mouse on the jammer line, jamming unopposed at the start of this jam as Ginger Snap is in the penalty box for the Unholy Rollers. Well, a bunch of skaters go down there, and Mouse back inbounds and on the track. She is not lead jammer.
It looks like Tango de Muerte tried to knock Mouse out to the inside. Mouse kind of got through there. There may have been a no pass, no penalty situation there, which is why she didn't pick up lead jam.
That's right.
Mouse now around the track, picking up a Minnie of Madison Grand Slam. 5 more points for the Reservoir Dolls.
And Ginger Snap now back on the track. She gets through the pack and picks up lead jammer status. So she calls off the jam as Mouse approaches the pack, trying to pick up a few more points. Mouse, though, with 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls, bringing their point total up to 60. Unholy Rollers with 52 points. Still over 7 minutes to go in this first period.
We'll take a moment here to thank another one of our sponsors, the Baldwin Street Grill. Baldwin Street Grill has Friday fish fry and brunch on the weekends. Thursday karaoke night is usually full of Derby girls.
And Lip Smacker jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, going up against Jendetta of the Unholy Rollers. Jendetta forced back to recycle in back of the Reservoir Doll pack. Lip Smacker also being knocked about, forced to recycle back around as the Unholy Rollers blockers, Bada Boombox, Fang Dangled, the Manipulator, and Scarlet Osneria work together to hold that jammer back.
That's right, Lip Smacker does get through on the inside, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. She's now going to work on making her scoring pass as Unholy Roller jammer Jendetta is in the WRT penalty box.
That gives Lip Smacker and the Reservoir Dolls a chance here to pick up some more points and increase their score lead. Trying to fight past the Manipulator and Scarlet Osneria as the last two Unholy Rollers there to pass. They knock her to the inside, and Lip Smacker forced to recycle her way around to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Jendetta back on the track from in the penalty box.
Lip Smacker now through the track, or through the pack, picking up a Minnie of Madison Grand Slam. 5 more points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Jendetta through the pack on her initial pass. The Unholy Rollers, though, do have only 2 blockers on the pack, one of which is Scarlet Osneria. Knocks Lip Smacker around to the outside, but does not keep her from scoring points on that last pass. She picks up 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls, bringing them to 69 points. Unholy Rollers with 52. We got 5 minutes left in this first period. On the jammer line for the Unholy Rollers, Blanche Devereaux up against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Reservoir Dolls.
Got a lead jammer out early here. We've got Lady Hoo-Ha taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
And she just smashes her way past those Unholy Roller blockers there. Blanche Devereaux in hot pursuit as well. Lady Hoo-Ha around the outside, calls off the jam, picks up 4 points, and keeps the Unholy Rollers to 0 in that last jam.
That's right, Lady Hoo-Ha implementing that hit it and quit it strategy, getting in, getting your points, calling off the jam, keeping the opposing team down to 0. We've got our score at Unholy Rollers 52, Reservoir Dolls 73.
Lining up on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we've got Gertrude Awakening jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. Gertrude Awakening finding a hole on the inside line right as Mouse gets out as well. Little jammer on jammer action there. Gertrude Awakening is determined to be lead jammer.
That's right, but both jammers are racing around the track as they try to make their scoring pass. Jam gonna be called off as Mouse is still in the lead coming up to the back of the pack. No points scored by either team.
Just a quick skate around the track there. Nice job though by Gertrude Awakening, calling off the jam before the Reservoir Dolls can pick up any more points. Nice job by Mouse getting out there first as well. And now on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line for the Unholy Rollers, we have Jen Detta. She'll be jamming against Shenanigans for the Reservoir Dolls.
Shenanigans juking back and forth towards the back of the pack, trying to make her way past the gold blockers. She does find that inside lane. Shenanigans is the lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls.
And Jen Detta out of the pack on her lead pass. Now both jammers eligible to score points. And it looks like Shenanigans, right as she reaches the back of the pack, passes a couple blockers and calls off that jam, picking up 2 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
2 minutes remain in this first half, Dolly. We have the Reservoir Dolls leading with 75 points against the Unholy Rollers 52.
And Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming against Sassbot for the Reservoir Dolls.
Whistle blows, jam begins. Blanche Devereaux finds a wide open lane on the inside, takes lead jam for the Unholy Rollers.
Yeah, Rich, Blanche did a nice little fake to the right there. Kind of got one of the Reservoir Dolls blockers off kilter and then found that inside line. She passes around the track and through the pack again, picking up a Minnie and Madison grand slam and 5 more points for the Unholy Rollers.
So far, the Unholy Rollers defense has managed to keep Sassbot back. Sassbot has not been able to start her scoring pass yet. Blanche Devereaux re-engaging the pack towards the front.
And Blanche getting knocked down, but gets right back up again, waits for her moment, and pushes through the Reservoir Doll blockers there to pass. Blanche Devereaux with another Minnie and Madison grand slam. And a big hit down. A couple of skaters going down there. Blanche Devereaux through the pack again as well for another Minnie and Madison grand slam.
That's right. Unholy Rollers blockers lining up on either side of the track as Blanche Devereaux came around to make her scoring pass, ready to smash into the Res Dolls defense. With that, the jam does end. 19 points picked up by the Unholy Rollers that last jam, Dolly.
That's right. Thanks to Blanche Devereaux and her jamming there, the Unholy Rollers are just 4 points away now from the Reservoir Dolls score.
Do have a quick shout out from the audience here. This one says Captain Mick is a shark. A shark!
Jamming for the Unholy Rollers, we have Gertrude Awakening off of the line. Sassbot coming out of the penalty box, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. And Gertrude Awakening taken to the outside. Knocked down, she gets right back up and in the pack, trying to fight her way past the Reservoir Doll blockers. Sasspot through the pack. She picks up lead jammer status for the Reservoir Dolls.
Gertrude Awakening knocked to the inside. Looks like she does pick up a track cut penalty as she re-entered the track. That gives Sasspot and the Reservoir Dolls a power jam.
And Rich, Sasspot already took advantage of that power jam by just sneaking her way through that last pass. She does it again, looking like she's going to go right through the pack, but sneaking around the outside, picks up 2 Minnie and Madison Grand Slams just there and 10 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Sasspot tries to weave in between the Unholy Rollers defense. Doesn't quite work out for her as well as it did last pass. Gets barely knocked to the outside. Does end up in picking up a track cut penalty with that maneuver. So off to the WRT penalty box she goes. In the meantime, we have Gertrude Awakening back on the track jamming for the Unholy Rollers. Going to see if she can pick up any more points as this jam and first half winds down.
And Gertrude Awakening making her way out of that pack of Reservoir Dolls. On her lead pass, she will race around the track now, see if she can pick up any points for the Unholy Rollers. Hellwood's trying to get up there and help her jammer through the pack. Gertrude Awakening makes it through for a Minnie and Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Unholy Rollers.
Sasspot released from the penalty box back on the track looking to make some points. However, the jam clock expires. That brings us to our first halftime, Dolly.
That's right, Rich, and the Reservoir Dolls are in the lead with 90 points. Unholy Rollers right behind with 76.
Have another shout out from the audience here. This one goes out to all you roller girls. You're doing great, from MJ.
They are doing great, Rich. It takes a lot for these ladies to get out there on that track and compete. They practice 2, 3, or more times per week. They work out even more than that, and you can tell it definitely shows in the strength that they have on the track, as well as the agility. Blanche Devereaux taken to the outside and recycled to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Mouse, lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls, getting out of the pack first. And she races around the outside. Mouse with a Minnie and Madison Grand Slam, picking up 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
That's right, it looks like we have a star pass happening on the track right now. Blanche Devereaux has passed her star onto the pivot Tango de Muerte.
And just as Tango de Muerte gets around the track to try and score some points, Mouse through the pack again, calls off the jam, picks up 9 points total in that jam, bringing the Reservoir Dolls score to 99 points. And jamming for the Unholy Rollers on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we've got Gertrude Awakening, number 314. She's going to be jamming against Lip Smacker, K115 for the Reservoir Dolls.
Gertrude Awakening knocked to the outside by Call It De Wild, recycled to the back. Now going to have to contend with Call It De Wild, and it looks like that was
Supernova.
Thank you, Dolly.
Yep. Both of the 2 blockers from the Reservoir Dolls, the only 2 blockers, Supernova and Call It a Wild, on the track right now as Lady Hoo-Ha gets released from the penalty box. Gertrude Awakening, though, able to make it through the pack and pick up lead jammer status for the Unholy Rollers.
Blanche gets through that scoring pass, picking up a few points, calling off the jam. 4 points on that last pass.
Nice job by Gertrude Awakening to pick up 4 points. Call the jam before the Reservoir Dolls can pick up any of those points. Another one of our sponsors, Rich, Rockabetty's Salon and Spa. Rockabetty's is a spa and salon that offers an array of unique and fun services such as nail parties and mobile wedding hairstyles. They come to you for your special day in their mobile wedding hairstyles and makeup services. Rockabetty's Salon and Spa.
Getting back down to the action on the track, we have Ginger Snap jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She is jamming against Shenanigans for the Reservoir Dolls. Shenanigans through first, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
Ginger Snap being recycled to the back of the pack after knocked to the inside by Jean Lane. Meanwhile, Shenanigans through the pack, picking up a Minnie and Madison grand slam for the Reservoir Dolls. Ginger Snap through the pack now, too. She's picked up 35 points in this bout so far. And it looks like she's racing behind the blockers on the Reservoir Dolls coming in from the penalty box. Meanwhile, Shenanigans calls off the jam before Ginger Snap and the Unholy Rollers can score any more points.
Would like to thank another one of our sponsors, Cooper's Tavern. Cooper's Tavern has craft beer and rustic food on the square. Big thank you to Cooper's Tavern for supporting Mad Rollin' Dolls.
And jamming for the Unholy Rollers, we've got Jendetta going up against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Reservoir Dolls. Jendetta through the pack first, but she is called off the track on a forearm penalty. That'll send her to the WORT penalty box. That gives Lady Hoo-Ha and the Reservoir Dolls a power jam. Lady Hoo-Ha, though, is struggling to get past the blockers on the Unholy Rollers. Tango de Muerte, Micro Mauler, Hellwoods, and Fang Dangled. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like it's Bada Boombox, Sugar Rush, Hello Sailor, and the Manipulator.
That's right, we've got Lady Hoo-Ha through again. She is lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Going to make a scoring pass here, but the Unholy Rollers blockers not going to make it easy for.
Sassbot trying to give her a little bit of offensive help in the front there. Lady Hoo-Ha, though, against the Unholy Rollers wall. Meanwhile, Jendetta, back on the track, she gets up through the pack, but that's just her initial pass. Lady Hoo-Ha calling off the jam, picking up 2 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Looks like we are going to have a quick official timeout to take care of some scoreboard issues.
And that'll give us a chance to read a few of our shout outs. We've got a shout out to the Salvation Army from AKIWI. Thanks to the Salvation Army. We've also got a couple groups here, Rich, tonight. We've got the Epic Systems group. Anybody from Epic Systems out here watching Derby? Welcome. Thank you for coming. We've also got the Irish Ridge Bruisers. Thank you and welcome to the Irish Ridge Bruisers for making your way out here. And we got another group from American Family Insurance. American Family Insurance.
I'm sure that they never hear enough of that.
I'm sure they don't.
Welcome to the folks from American Family, all of our group ticket purchasers tonight. Hope you're all having a great time for this, our championship bout, or evening of bouts.
And this is the grudge match, but both of these teams are going to be wanting to pick up the win here. We've got 24 minutes in which anything can happen. And then after this, we'll be watching the Quad Squad and the Vaudeville Vixens compete for the Leg of Champions, which we have right here at the table. That's right, Leggy will belong to one of those teams after tonight's championship bout. Then, folks, the fun is not done. When the bout is over, we'll have an after party at the High Noon Saloon on 701 East Washington Avenue. Come and join us down there. Listen to Venus in Furs and the Shirley Manson family playing there tonight. Back on the track, though, we've got Scarlet Osneria jamming for the Unholy Rollers, jamming against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls.
Scarlet Osneria trying to find that inside lane, kind of pushed back and away by the Res Dolls blockers.
Knocked down on the inside line and forced to recycle around, or forced to recycle to the back of the pack. That gives Mouse the opportunity to push her way through the pack of blockers and pick up lead jammer status.
It's like Scarlett O'Sneary is being called to the WRT penalty box on a forearm penalty. This gives Mouse and the Reservoir Dolls a power jam. Mouse edging her way on the outside, nimbly staying on the inside, not being forced out of the track. Just a very, like Mouse, as always, very nimble and quick on her feet. Great at, like, nice little moves like that. Picking up a mini of Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points for the Reservoir Dolls.
Tango de Muerte, Gertrude Awakening, and Off Me Rocker really trying to hold Mouse back. They were able to do so for about the length of that turn. But Mouse, again, able to be agile, moving back and forth and making her way along the track. She's around the track again, picking up speed. The pack moves forward, and that jam, though, comes to its final conclusion after 2 minutes. Mouse picking up a total of 12 points for the Reservoir Dolls, bringing their grand total points to 119. The Unholy Rollers at 80. We've got another shout out going to the Belleville Blue Fury Girls Soccer for their win this morning. Congrats to the Belleville Blue Fury.
Getting back down to the action on the roller derby track, we have Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers, taking a lead jam for her team. She is jamming against Res Doll's jammer Lip Smacker, who is still working her way against a wall of gold and red.
And as Lip Smacker tries to make her way past the Unholy Roller blockers, Blanche Devereaux finds an outside lane, picks up a mini of Madison Grand Slam, and 5 points for the Unholy Rollers. She races through the pack again, picks up 5 more points, and calls off that jam. Nice jamming by Blanche Devereaux, picking up 10 points and bringing the Unholy Rollers total to 89. Blanche Devereaux picking up 29 points so far in this jam for her team. And on the line, jamming for the Unholy Rollers, we've got Ginger Snap. She's picked up 35 points total this game. She'll be jamming against Sasspot from the Reservoir Dolls. Ginger Snap through the pack, picking up lead jammer status for the Unholy Rollers. And Ginger Snap knocking into the Heat, who tries to block her, but gets right past for a mini of Madison Grand Slam.
Ginger Snap sliding through on her pads there to pick up another mini of Madison Grand Slam. 5 more points to the Unholy Rollers.
And as long as you pass those blockers in bounds, Rich, it can be done in a variety of ways. Now with 1 blocker to pass, that's shenanigans. Ginger Snap fights her way past, picking up another mini of Madison Grand Slam.
Sasspot still doing what she can to contend with a wall of gold for the Unholy Rollers, getting a little bit of help from shenanigans there. She is now through the pack. However, she is not your lead jammer, but she is eligible now to start scoring points.
And Ginger Snap fights her way through that pack again, picking up another 4 points for the Unholy Rollers. That brings them to 19 points on that jam, keeping the Reservoir Dolls to 0. Nice jam by Ginger Snap, bringing the Unholy Rollers total points to 108. Reservoir Dolls at 119.
That's right, Dolly. Only 11 points separate these two teams with only 20 minutes remaining in this bout.
And it looks like we have a team timeout, which gives us a chance to thank our sponsors and read a few more shout outs. I want to thank our sponsors, Super Duper. Super Duper offers digital, offset, letterpress, and hand silk screen printing, and they specialize in CD and DVD packaging and manufacturing. Check them out, Super Duper.
Got a shout out here, says, go Res Dolls, go Sly. You gotta win this for your 3 favorite fans, Evie, Izzy, and Eileen. All right, with that, our timeout has wrapped up. Teams are returning to the track. We've got Mouse on the jammer line jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She will be jamming against Jendetta for the Unholy Rollers.
And Mouse tries to get around the outside and past a couple Unholy Roller blockers. She finds a hole on the inside as she sneaks through, picks up lead jammer status for the Reservoir Dolls.
Jendetta still working away at the back of the pack, trying to get by those Reservoir Dolls blockers. Mouse does get through. However, she has picked up a track cut penalty on that pass. Off to the WRT penalty box she goes. Jendetta now has a power jam, Dolly.
That's right, she does, but Jendetta will have to fight past those Reservoir Doll blockers, giving her a hard time out there on the track. Lady Hoo-Ha, Tenacious D, The Heat, and Shenanigans. She gets by, not picking up lead jammer status. She will make her way into the pack there, and it looks as though she has passed the jammer star to the pivot. Gertrude Awakening now becomes the jammer for the Unholy Rollers. A little bit of a hop, skip, and apex jump there. Gertrude Awakening picking up a Midia Madison and 5 points for the Unholy Rollers.
Mouse back on the track, but picks up another penalty shortly after re-entering. So the power jam for the Unholy Rollers continues.
Now Jendetta in the pack starting off this jam as the jammer, but Gertrude Awakening trying to pick up some points for the Unholy Rollers. The Heat and Lady Hoo-Ha trying to hold her back. Shenanigans and Tenacious D there in the mix as Lady Hoo-Ha is sent to the penalty box.
Plenty
Not
of
to
blockers.
the inside. Plenty of blockers there in the penalty box, it looks like, heading over there.
Yep.
The WRT Back Porch Radio penalty box. But a nice jam there by the Unholy Rollers. That jam ends, 10 points picked up by Gertrude Awakening, 118 points to the Reservoir Dolls, 119 points. 1 point separates these teams.
Yeah, both teams playing so hard. They both clearly want this win to put away this grudge match game. Getting back down to the action on the track, we have Lip Smacker jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She is jamming against Scarlet Osnaria for the Unholy Rollers.
Both jammers held up by the opposing team's blockers, taken to the outside and recycled around to the back. It looked like Lip Smacker was going to get out of the front. Now Jendetta up in the front, fighting past Block Ness Monster and Jean Lane, trying to make her way out of the pack.
Bodies and limbs flying inside the pack, just the colors of red, gold, black, and white churning together. Lip Smacker's going to get through first to take lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
But that did almost take them a whole lap to get through the pack. Good defense on the part of the Unholy Rollers as well as the Reservoir Dolls, holding back these jammers, forcing them to recycle around. And it looks like the jammer cover was dropped on the ground. So Scarlet Osnaria, the jammer who was wearing that jammer cover, is the only one who can go back and pick that jammer cover up and return it to her helmet.
Which she has now done, and is working against that blocking wall of the Block Nest Monster, Lady Hoo-Ha, and Jean Lane.
And Lip Smacker getting up to the pack again, trying to fight past Fang Dangle, who knocks her to the inside. Lip Smacker calls off the jam. Says, that's enough. I'm done with this. I'm picking up my 4 points. And we'll start a new jam. And that gives the Reservoir Dolls 4 more points, bringing their total to 126. 5 more points, excuse me, to 127. And the Unholy Rollers at 118. Jamming for the Unholy Rollers, we have Blanche Devereaux on the track now, up against Lady Hoo-Ha, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
Blanche Devereaux going to get through first, taking the lead jam for the Unholy Rollers. We do also have Lady Hoo-Ha out, hot on her heels as both jammers approach the pack. Blanche Devereaux flies through the pack, calls off the jam. Looks like she picked up 4 points. No, I'm sorry, 3 points on that pass.
Smart
no points
move,
for the Reservoir Dolls.
And that was the smart move by Blanche Devereaux, getting through the pack, turning around to call off the jam right as she saw Lady Hoo-Ha approach the back of the pack and able to score some points. Lady Hoo-Ha, though, it looks like picked up a few points there right in the back of the pack. And we'll start off the next jam. From the Monkey Bar Jam Jammer line, we've got Ginger Snap jamming for the Unholy Rollers against Mouse jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
Mouse, who has gotten out first to take lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Hurrying up around that track, gonna look to score some points. The pack is moving fast. Shenanigans takes a position up towards the front of the pack to help Mouse get through, which she does. 4 more points for the Reservoir Dolls.
As Mouse gets through, Shenanigan transitions to defense and holds back Ginger Snap, getting her stuck up in a wall behind 3 of the Reservoir Dolls up in front. But nice turnaround there on the inside line. Ginger Snap gets through, picks up 4 points for the Unholy Rollers.
Mouse calls off the jam after picking up 2 points on that pass. Looks like we have 7 points scored total for the Reservoir Dolls last jam to the Unholy Rollers 4. That brings our score to Unholy Rollers 125, Reservoir Dolls 137.
And you know what day it is tomorrow, Rich?
Oh, I have a feeling, Dolly, but why don't you tell me?
It's Mother's Day.
I
And
knew
I've
it.
got a shout out here to Mimi, a great mother from Emma Bean. So happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there, especially Mimi, a great mother. Now back to the action on the track. We've got Jendetta jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She is your lead jammer, getting out of the pack before Lip Smacker, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
Lip Smacker knocked to the inside, recycled to the back of the pack, running into the blocking triangle of Fang Dangled, Hello Sailor, and the Manipulator.
Meanwhile, Jendetta doing a great job of really just holding her own, getting right into the back of that pack, and then pushing her way past the opposing blockers. She just did it there, the second Minnie Madison Grand Slam for Jendetta. That's 5 more points added to her 5 previous points on a Minnie Madison Grand Slam.
Yeah, the Unholy Rollers definitely starting to close up the score gap that existed at the start of this jam.
And Jendetta calls off the jam right as she approaches the pack before the Reservoir Dolls can score any points. She calls that off and picks up another 3 points.
And with that 3 points, that does mean we have another lead change, Dolly. Unholy Rollers are now at 138 to Reservoir Dolls 137. Again, only 1 point separating these 2 teams.
And Rich, it looks like Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She'll be jamming against Sassbot for the Reservoir Dolls. Well, jammers trying to take the outside line. Blanche Devereaux makes it around through the pack, and she is your lead jammer for the Unholy Rollers.
Sassbot fighting at the front of the pack against the Unholy Rollers blockers, not quite getting out yet, knocked to the outside. In the meantime, Blanche Devereaux getting through, picking up a Minnie of Madison Grand Slam. 5 more points to the Unholy Rollers.
Oh, and everybody kind of goes down in a big pile there. Blanche Devereaux approaching the pack right as a group of blockers fall down. Last time we saw her just kind of step through those blockers and over. This time she just turns around to the outside picks up another 4 points and calls off that jam. Great job by the Unholy Rollers, and Blanche Devereaux as a jammer there picking up 9 points, bringing the total for the Unholy Rollers to 147. Reservoir Dolls with 137, and still almost 11 minutes to go in this second period.
Looking down on that Monkey Bar Gym jammer line, we have Ginger Snap jamming for the Unholy Rollers up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. Mouse finds that inside hole, takes lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls, just flying around the track as Ginger Snap still is working her way past the Reservoir Dolls defense.
Ginger Snap trying to get a push there, gets knocked down, but right back up and tries to fight her way past Charlie Hustle, Block Nest Monster, and Shenanigans in the front of the pack. Just 2 blockers to pass. Meanwhile, Mouse around the track and fighting her way through, picking up a Mini Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
That's right, Mouse starting to close up that score gap. Ginger Snap picks herself up a track cut penalty, heads off to the WRT penalty box. This gives Mouse and the Reservoir Dolls a power jam.
And Mouse just picking up another Mini Madison Grand Slam. That gives the Reservoir Dolls and the Unholy Rollers a tie in points right there. Mouse around the track again, trying to fight her way past. Off Me Rocker, Gertrude Awakening, gets past the Unholy Roller blockers and through for another Mini Madison Grand Slam.
Mouse finds that inside hole again, picking up 5 more points on that pass, calls off the jam.
So it looks like the Reservoir Dolls immediately respond to the Unholy Rollers 10 points with 20 points, now bringing themselves into a 10-point lead with 157 points. Unholy Rollers with 147. And the Reservoir Dolls will start this jam unopposed on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line with the Unholy Roller jammer Ginger Snap starting in the box, Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
Now, Ginger Snap was standing in the penalty box, meaning she had only mere seconds remaining on her penalty. She is back on the track, but Lady Hoo-Ha is through, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
Ginger Snap around the pack, or around Shenanigans there. And eligible to score points. Lady Hoo-Ha turns around and calls off the jam before any more points can be scored. She picks up 3, bringing the Reservoir Dolls to 160 points. A great game being played by both teams here. A lot of great defense out there. A lot of great jamming on the part of Mouse, picking up 65 points for the Reservoir Dolls, followed by Lip Smacker with 34 points, Sassbot with 28. And it looks like we've got Mouse on the jammer line again for the Reservoir Dolls, jamming against Jendetta for the Unholy Rollers. Mouse knocks Jendetta down to the inside there. It looks like afterwards she was called off the track for a penalty. That'll send her to the WRT penalty box.
However, Jendetta has also picked herself up a penalty, a track cut penalty, if I'm not mistaken. So now, as the Reservoir Dolls penalty box starts to empty, Mouse is also released from the penalty box and will begin trying to make her way past those Unholy Roller blockers to start a scoring pass.
Unholy Roller blockers Tango de Muerte, Hello Sailor, the Manipulator, and Scarlet Osnaria trying to hold her back. And it looks like Mouse called off the track for a track cut penalty, sending her to the WORT penalty box. Meanwhile, Jendetta through the pack and back on the track on her initial pass. And Jendetta around the track again. She picks up a Mini Madison Grand Slam and 5 points for the Unholy Rollers.
Yep, keeping this game nice and close to the very end. Jendetta just
Through the pack again.
weaving through like a river of unholy power, picking up 5 more points.
And you can just see the determination and the focus as she makes her way through. Knows when to stop and go back and uses her blockers to help her. Mouse back on the track from the penalty box. She gets through the pack on her first initial pass. Through the pack again, picking up 4 points. Meanwhile, though, Jendetta, another Minnie Madison Grand Slam, and she picks up a total of 15 points in that jam. Reservoir Dolls with 4 points, and that'll bring the Reservoir Dolls and the Unholy Rollers to just a 2-point game, with the Reservoir Dolls on top, 164 to 162.
Now we do have an official timeout happening right now. Not quite sure what they're going to be going over. I have a feel it looks like they are going over some penalties. So
And
we'll come back to you with whatever information we get as soon as we get it.
Sounds great. Meanwhile, Rich, I've got a shout out to Gurr and the Unholy Rollers from Bobby Dijon.
And I have a shout out here for one of the jammers out there on the track right now. It says, "You're the best, Lady Hoo-Ha and the Res Dolls," from Sarah. Speaking of rock stars on the track that I have shout outs for, I have a shout out here that says Zdork rules.
That's Zdork coming my way right here, telling us what's going on with that official review. And Zdork has been one of the leading officials in our crew and head ref for the Mad Rollin' Dolls for several years now. This will be his last bout with the Mad Rollin' Dolls for this season, and we are going to miss him next year.
All right, our official timeout has concluded. Sounds like they were just kind of tightening up of the numbers. Nothing has really changed here for us as far as the score is concerned. We are at Unholy Rollers 162, Reservoir Dolls 164, with 5 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in this game, Dolly.
Exciting play going on here as Blanche Devereaux and Lady Hoo-Ha make their way into the pack. Lady Hoo-Ha out of the pack first. She is lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls.
Oh, and Unholy Rollers jammer Blanche Devereaux going down to the WRT penalty box for a back block penalty. This gives Lady Hoo-Ha a power jam, which she's taking full advantage of, picking up a Minnie of Madison Grand Slam.
And Lady Hoo-Ha around the track again, fighting against a wall of Unholy Roller blockers, Sugar Rush, Micro Mauler, and handcuffs. Trying to contain her, but they cannot. Lady Hoo-Ha picks up another Minnie of Madison Grand Slam. And as she approaches that pack, Lady Hoo-Ha decides to call off the jam, picking up 10 points total in that jam, bringing the Reservoir Dolls to 174 points.
Blanche Devereaux was released from the penalty box at the last minute of that jam, so the Unholy Rollers now will have their jammer up on the Monkey Bar Gym jammer line for this jam. They are sending up Ginger Snap. She will be jamming against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls.
And Ginger Snap trying to make her way up to the front, up against a wall of Reservoir Dolls. Mouse in the back against Unholy Roller blocker wall.
Ginger Snap does get out first to take lead jam, however is recycled to the back of the pack by Jean Lane. However, Mouse now through the pack, not your lead jammer, but she is looking to start making a scoring pass.
And although Ginger Snap was the lead jammer initially, she was called out on a penalty, going to the WORT penalty box that will also lose her the ability to call off the jam. That'll give Mouse and the Reservoir Dolls a power jam here. Mouse takes gets a Minnie of Madison Grand Slam and 5 points in that last pass.
Right you are, Dolly, and Mouse just kind of slid through there, did a little spin around one of the Unholy's blockers to pick up another Mini Madison Grand Slam. Reapproaches the pack, tries the same move again. However, there are additional Unholy blockers there to keep her back.
And Mouse does a great job of using her agility and speed to just get past that pack. Doing so there for another Mini Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points. Ginger Snap, meanwhile, trying to fight off the Reservoir Doll blockers. She gets through, but that has to be her initial pass again. Now eligible to score some points, which is what the Unholy Rollers need here. Just about 20, 30 points to reach the Reservoir Dolls point scoring here. Mouse through the pack again for a Mini Madison Grand Slam.
Right at the last moment, too, as the jam clock expires.
And it looks like Mouse getting through the pack for 5 of those Mini Madison Grand Slams. 25 points for Mouse in that last jam, bringing her point scoring total for this game up to 93 points. Out of the Reservoir Dolls, 199 points.
Definitely a strong game for Mouse and the Reservoir Dolls. Also a strong game for the Unholy Rollers. Unholy Rollers' high-scoring jammer this game is Ginger Snap with 59 points herself, followed by Blanche Devereaux with 40 points. Looks like we do have a timeout being called by the Unholy Rollers. So we will have a moment here to get through some additional shout-outs to our sponsors. I'd like to thank Anala Salon and Spa with locations at Hilldale and on Atwood Avenue. Also would like to thank Maduro Cigar Bar, as well as Duckworks Media Forge. Well, thank you all for your support of the Mad Rollin' Dolls, letting us roll on, keeping on doing what we do best. Team timeout has expired. Skaters are on the track, ready to go. We've got Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Unholy Rollers. She's jamming against Reservoir Doll jammer Lady Hoo-Ha.
And Blanche Devereaux is lead jammer out of the pack first and has a pretty big lead on the track there. Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls has been sent to the penalty box.
Yep, this is exactly the kind of situation that the Unholy Rollers need in what may well be the last jam of this game. So now Blanche Devereaux has a power jam. However, the Reservoir Dolls blockers are doing a great job of keeping her back.
They can't keep her back for too long, though. She finds an inside lane and picks up a Mini Madison Grand Slam and 5 more points for the Unholy Rollers. Micro Mauler tries to get up into the Reservoir Dolls blocking pack there and increase the speed of the pack for Blanche Devereaux as she tries to make her way through. Blanche through the pack again, picking up 5 more points and a Mini Madison Grand Slam.
Res Doll's blocker calling a while, taking a bit of a hit on the second turn there. A little slow to rejoin the pack. We've got the jam called off with 30 seconds remaining on the game clock, Dolly.
And 30 seconds can mean a lot, Rich. Reservoir Dolls with 199 points, but Unholy Rollers with 173. Blanche Devereaux in that last jam picking up 10 points to Lady who has 1 point. All they really need is another big power jam this jam. We'll see what happens as Gertrude Awakening takes the track for the Unholy Rollers, going up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls.
That's right. So Gertrude Awakening needs to pick up 27 points to be able to take the lead here. Game clock only has 31 seconds remaining. However, we will go until the jam clock ends, not the game clock.
So whoever gets lead jammer status in this jam has the power to stop the jam before the jam expires. Gertrude Awakening fighting through a wall of Reservoir Dolls, Tenacious D, Lip Smacker, Block Next Monster, and Full Frontal Judity. Meanwhile, Mouse making her way past the Unholy Rollers blockers. She picks up lead jammer status for the Reservoir Dolls.
Gertrude Awakening now through the pack, looking to score some points.
And the jam, it looks like, is called off. Mouse picking up 1 point for the Reservoir Dolls. And that is the unofficial final. We'll have things totaled up here for you, letting you know what does happen.
Yeah, with that, it sounds like we have our final score, Dolly. Game is over. Unholy Rollers 173, Reservoir Dolls 200. Reservoir Dolls are your winners, taking third place in the season 12 of Mad Rollin' Dolls home season.
And that was a great grudge match, Rich. Both teams played hard. Both teams showed a lot of great skills in their jammers as well as their blockers. And you can check out both teams at their fan tables after the game. After this bout here, they will be located out in the lobby at their fan tables. Also be sure to pick up a Dairyland doll wheel for the wheel toss that will commence at halftime.
That's right, Dolly. This is your last opportunity to head on down to the Dairyland Dolls tables to pick up those wheels. That's one wheel for $3, two for $5, for an opportunity to win 2 season pass tickets for next year's Mad Rollin' Dolls home season.
All right, and those of you that have your wheels, get ready. In about 5 minutes, we'll bring you down to the track to participate in the wheel toss. So you have about 5 more minutes to get your last wheels purchased and get down to the track, and we'll be back.